Well, welcome back. It's the 6th and final episode of The Reign of Terror, the pun that is Prisoners of Conciergerie. And Tim and Carole are back, and we are joined by another guest actor who I'm going to ask to introduce himself now.
Well, my name is Patrick Marley, and I think I appeared for a few seconds in this episode.
You are a soldier.
Yes.
Here's an interesting television acting technique, which is called standing still while the caption plays over.
Yes.
Now, directorially, Tim, some directors would sort of do a close-up of a prop or something to have that played over, but there, Henrik's made the actors stand.
Yeah, well, he is a theatre director, and some things work really well, which I was talking about in the last episode, and something like that really jars. But I think, in a sense, I think Verity Lambert, as producer, should have said it looks a bit static, because it does look, seeing it again, very static and not real.
Well, everyone's sort of doing it a different way, because James Cairncross was sort of nodding away, kept acting, and then Donald Morley was sort of looking at the cameras and saying, "Can I start acting now?"
They're waiting for me to cue it, I think. Wave my hands. But
So, Patrick, do you remember the period around this, getting the part, where you were as an actor, how you'd got into television?
Yes, I think getting into television, I think I'd just done a couple of tellies. The first one was live. It was Zcars. Do people remember Zcars?
Oh, yes.
I was in
Brian
Zcars.
Blessed and so. And the idea of doing a TV live now, I mean, it would be frightening. But in those days, it was quite normal, because everything one did was live. It was called theatre. Every weekly rep, you did the show every week. You didn't know what was going on half the time. So I'd done that. So to do something you could record, and if it went wrong, we could do it again, maybe, didn't seem so bad. So I remember meeting Henrik Hirsch, whom I later worked with in Crossroads, another one, All the Greats.
Yes, yeah.
And we did 5 episodes a week in that. I had one day to do it all. And he was directing it as if it was Cherry Orchard, and we had all the time in the world. And he kept saying, no, we've got to do this quickly.
Crossroads was after this.
Yes.
He didn't find that stressful.
Yes,
He
he
found
did.
Doctor Who stressful.
Well, it may have been going on.
Well-
I don't think it, because when I was in Crossroads for about a year or something in 1966, it had been going for a few years. So this date.
Yeah, this was
64.
This was 64, so it would have been after. Yeah.
Crossroads had just started, I think, because when I was in it, they were celebrating their 7th year, and it came after Coronation Street, which of course was big time, better paid, only 1 or 2 episodes a week then, quite classy. But we would just made it up as we went along, and Hadoke was a lovely man. But I remember him interviewing me for this part, and I went along and got the part, which wouldn't happen now, because they might see 20, 30 people for the tiny part, and then maybe one of them will get it if they're very lucky and done lots of work. It was, I think, easier then to get a job. There must have been fewer. Well, it was difficult, but less difficult than now. Fewer actors, I suppose.
which drama school did you go to, Patrick?
I didn't. Because I'm quite old. I started out doing national service, and then I became a teacher, then I became something else. By the time I was 25, I was going to go to the Rose Bruford School. I thought, but I got a job instead in weekly rep. I thought, that's for me. So you could start, well, indeed as you can now, if you could get a job. And I did, and learned it by doing it. Some people still do it. You make your mistakes in public, that's all. But you do a play every week. You know, it could be Shakespeare one week and Agatha Christie the next. Hopefully come out slightly differently. So I
remember which genre you're in.
Yes. If I'm entering through the fireplace, it can't be King Lear. And all the jokes all the fun you could have.
So, Henrik, you worked with subsequently,
Yes.
because obviously
He did.
we've talked throughout this session about the fact that it was a difficult job for Henrik and his last for the BBC.
Yes.
But he found Crossroads tough going too.
Because there was more of it.
Yeah.
There were the 5 episodes, and hardly any retakes. You just dried stone dead, and hopefully Noel Gordon would come in. She went on like a slow express train, never stopping. She never forgot anything and just kept on going, feeding your line. She was wonderful.
Well, for many years it was assumed that Henrik had died in the late 60s, but actually we
No.
tracked him down to Australia,
Indeed.
to New South Wales, where I have a letter from him here that was written in 1994,
Yes.
where he was saying that he did Doctor Who a considerable time ago and asking if there's a video cassette attainable, but saying he's sorry it's disappointing, he can't remember anything. And we've sent people to that address in New South Wales, because we all do this in our sort of spare time to try and find stuff out. And his neighbours believed that Henry, as he was affectionately known, had since passed away.
Oh.
Yes.
But he was certainly still alive in 1994, enjoying retirement in New South Wales.
Yes.
Didn't he go into a nursing home? I heard.
In Australia.
Yeah.
Well, the address that we had was a family address, and then I think there was that he'd moved on, and then
Yeah.
trails faded.
Yeah.
So anyway, so history is not certain, but it certainly didn't end in the late 60s when
Oh, no,
when
because
we thought.
I ran into him in the 80s, I think, at BBC, in the canteen, chatting away. I think I was trying to get a job out of him. So he must have been working or tried to.
So did he work in New South Wales?
I don't know. No, the records of work we have Emmerdale. He did a few episodes of early Emmerdale and things like that.
Yeah, he didn't work any more times at the BBC.
No. That's
Perhaps he preferred theatre.
yeah, and he's maybe that's and there's there are fewer records obviously of things like that
Yes.
we certainly get hold of. So anyway, we're doing Doctor Who here at the BBC. It's quite Tales of Two Cities. This did Doctor Who sometimes feed off literature, and was that just people, David Whittaker and Dennis Spooner, and people looking for ideas to.
Yeah, I think there was they would always try to sort of, it was also kind of looking at it from the educational point of view, another saleability factor for, doing another series of Doctor Who, because at this time, no one was sure whether they would do another series. This was the last one of the very first series. And
They were quite accurate, weren't they?
Yes, and Donald Baverstock was still making up his mind as to whether he was going to do any more. But this, doing something historic, because they were thinking about doing the Spanish Armada originally, a story on that.
Had to go on location for that, I think.
Yeah, it'd be nicer locations.
That's probably why they didn't do it.
Yeah. But so we ended up doing the French Revolution.
And of course, you've moved. The early episodes that we were watching before were at Lime Grove. Now you're in TC4.
Yes, things
Hooray.
improved
Hooray,
after
hooray.
episode 4. During episode 4, I when Henrik collapsed in the studio in episode 3 at Lime Grove, I realised I would have to take on more responsibility. So I decided that I would do the camera script for him, the camera plan, work out where the cameras were and how many he could have each set for each scene, and also help him with the camera script.
He must have loved you. That must have taken such a lot of pressure off.
And also Bill had been giving a bit of a hard time, as we know. So I did a bit of diplomacy. I took Bill out to dinner by Kew Bridge, I remember, in a pub. I bought the dinner, actually.
Oops.
I put it on expenses.
Good.
And I talked to Bill, and he said what had happened, after the recording, and I told him what had happened. And I said, Henrik's fine, it's very stressful, and anything you can do to help would, I know, help not only the production, but also help Henrik a lot. I think he's finding it difficult working with you, Bill, to be honest. And Bill was very good after that. He did, I don't know whether anyone noticed, but I did, certainly, that he was much more, he was better behaved, shall we say, not so abrupt. And
I don't think he realised the effect he had on people.
no, I
I
don't
don't think he
did.
intended it at all.
No.
Yeah, that's
Just his
interesting,
way.
Carole, because I noticed that people that didn't know him very well say he was this sort of and people like yourself who
Yeah.
knew him very well absolutely adored him. And
Yeah.
is that because was he quite shy of new people, and that's how it manifested itself?
He stayed within the part, very much so, I think. He didn't sort of he wasn't one of those people who sort of went on and acted and then came out and was a different person or was himself. He stayed very much within the part, and that's how he played it. And that's how he came across. And I think there were aspects of him where he was quite shy too, where he didn't totally know how to behave with people. I mean, he didn't find small talk terribly easy. And I think this made him feel awkward.
Of course, a
You
lot of
found that too?
Yeah. I think that the other thing is that Bill was used to doing quite a lot of films. And you'd be very Mr. Hartnell this and Mr. Hartnell that. And whereas good old BBC, hello, Bill, can you come over here and stand there? And he was kind of wanting a little bit of that film treatment, if you like. And I can remember when we moved to the London Transport for rehearsals, he said to me one day, just before the studio, he said, "Do you know, I'd like to have my own chair. I find it, when I go into the studio, there's nowhere for me to sit and I'd like to have my own chair with my name on it." Well, anyone who's been in a BBC studio, they're metal chairs, canvas metal chairs, which you stack up. Yeah. So I got my AFM, who worked in light entertainment normally, so he, flowery hand, came out and wrote Mr. William Hartnell on this chair, and we stuck it on the back. And so he had it always there.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
He was chuffed.
And that made a big difference to Bill.
He was chuffed.
He made a big difference to him. He felt that he was wanted and he was important.
He needed his ego stroked, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was less secure, I think, than a lot of people think. He was, he needed to be told he was good all the time.
Like so many actors.
Like actors do.
Yeah, all actors.
Talking of actors, we've got two actors here who've come in quite late in the day to play quite important parts.
It's Tony Wall. Yes, I know Tony Wall. I saw him not so long ago. He's doing amateur dramatics and he's a carpenter.
Good Lord.
And he lives on a houseboat. And I'd seen again in the theatre and recommended to Henrik. I thought that with the nose
looks wonderful.
absolutely perfect for Napoleon.
He's very good. He's very good.
He's a good
Glad
actor.
to see he's still. He could have got him in had we known. And John Law as Paul Barras.
Yes, don't know how, I think that came through Henrik scouting around for somebody to cast, but certainly Tony was, and then he later on worked with my wife. She was an actress, and they did Arsenic and Old Lace at the Vaudeville Theatre with Athene Seiler
And Sybil Thornton.
and Richard Bryars.
Yes.
It
who
was,
lives
and
in Chiswick still.
and Tony was in that because he could do a very good transatlantic, mid-Atlantic accent. So it was perfect. Very good actor.
I think what's adorable is that he comes into the pub in disguise, but dressed as Napoleon. He's got a scarf over his face, but then he takes it off and he's dressed as Napoleon.
Just pretending to be.
Where shall we go? To the palace. We'll get news of Robespierre. If you're not outside the prison when we return, I'll come for you.
So do you remember much of William Hartnell then, Patrick? Or it must have been quite daunting for you coming in as...
I don't know. I must have been daunted, but I don't remember it. I remember him well. I remember him there. Watching this now, one feels, why doesn't one of the characters say, "Hey, have you something awful landed on your head?" Look, my God, how did that get there? I remember, I don't know why I remember Edward Brayshaw, because he wasn't in this episode, was he?
No.
But I remember rehearsing, unless it was something else. Because I worked with him later in Shakespeare. And I'm not sure if I worked in was he in Uncle Jack on TV, BBC? You mentioned a series earlier he was in.
Rent-A-Ghost.
Rent-A-Ghost. I think he was in that. So I knew him by then. And of course I worked with James Carecross since then at Bristol Old Vic. Is he still with us?
No, he only died last year, though.
He would have been a good age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
He was retired back to Scotland. And here's Keith Anderson as Robespierre.
Oh, yes. Good face.
Good face, isn't it?
And a fluent French speaker, Keith Anderson.
Is that why he got the part?
Don't know.
No.
He wrote.
Because he was actually French.
He wrote.
Is this me?
This is you.
Is my
About
fine
there you
moment
go.
with a funny hat.
So when you'd have rehearsed, you probably wouldn't have had this gang. You'd have just had to represent all the soldiers yourself, would you, Patrick? And then the extras would have come in closer to filming.
Yeah, I suppose. This is what I can't remember.
Well, here you are.
On the left.
I've got a nose. I could have played Napoleon.
You've got to
Nobody asked me. Looks like
have nose will travel.
have nose. Yeah.
So how is it seeing yourself there?
Oh, it's like looking at someone in the 18th century. I mean, it's just, was that me? It's very difficult to remember oneself being young. You think that's like some other person. What was I like?
Yeah.
Because I'm obviously months older now.
You'd never know.
And we come out. It was all very exciting.
Well, off screen, you've just done what did happen in history. You've shot Robespierre in the jaw.
All right.
But you can't show that at a Saturday tea
No.
time.
Not
Oh,
to the
no.
kiddies. No.
Well,
So-
like in Greek tragedy, all the terrible things happen off stage.
And I've got a couple of letters here that Keith Anderson wrote to a couple of fans, Ben Jolly and Lee Allen, where he said he'd just returned from Paris and he visited the conciergerie. This is some time after. This is in 2000. So he'd obviously still remembered doing his Doctor Who and went to see the conciergerie where Robespierre was imprisoned and guillotined, and had a look to remind himself of Doctor Who. And he asked again, because he sent a few of these letters. He was desperate for the missing episodes to turn up, because he was episode 4 was his big episode of Robespierre, and of course it's still we
There
don't
was
have it.
some hope maybe you could find it.
Well, we always hope. It's what keeps Doctor Who fans awake at night. Certainly, not a lot of romantic happens to us. We have to,
You
So-
do need to get a life.
But they have the recording, but not
they have
they have the sound.
yes, a Doughty fan with a microphone next to their telly recorded the soundtrack of every episode, or various different fans. We have the sound of everything, yes.
Right.
But attitudes to television and archiving were different in those days.
Very
I guess
different.
at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time you weren't going, well, we're making history. It was
How does one ever know?
ephemeral entertainment.
That's right.
Yes, and Lemaitre was shot trying to run away.
Lemaitre shot?
Shot, and now we're going to deal with his accomplices.
And yes, is another Keith writing. He'd signed a photograph, and yes, just we've got 3 letters here, and in each one he says, "Oh, could you tell us if he'd been working?" That's right. He said he'd had a little work in early 2000. I somewhat drifted out of the profession. I did an hour-long play and a small part of an interpreter-translator in a film called Incognito with Rod Steiger. And I wonder if he got that because he was a fluent French speaker,
French
which
speaker.
which
Yes.
might have helped.
Yeah.
But he passed away in the early, I think 2002, something like that, Keith. And you knew Roy Herrick as well, Patrick,
Yes,
who we saw in earlier
I
episodes
did.
as well.
I don't think we worked together. We had friends in common. He died at no great age, I think.
Yeah, it was in 1988 he died. He must have been about 50, I think.
Something like
Oh
that.
dear.
William Russell's still with us, I think.
Very
Yes,
much so.
yes.
Still
We had a
going
friend,
strong.
I spoke to him on the phone at some point. I was in France with friends, and he rang up to talk to Edward Hadoke, who since died sadly. And so we had a chat on the phone. I said, "You won't remember me, but I arrested somebody in an episode you were in." So he said, "Oh, really? How interesting." Nice man. And Jacqueline Hill is still...
Unfortunately
sadly.
not. No.
So
Is at a certain age, there's no good asking, how is so-and-so? So you can't say, well, I tell you.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Get out. Now, while we are reconsidering the post of jailer, you may stay here in a temporary capacity.
Thank you, citizen. You won't regret it, I promise you.
I hope not. Now, Robespierre's friends smuggled him away after the convention. The soldiers are after him. He will be caught and probably brought here.
Yeah, well, we'll look after him, citizen. Never fear.
Tomorrow, there will be a new bunch of prisoners, Robespierre's friends. So I hope everything will be ready, including the cell.
Keith actually got the part because he'd written to Henrik saying, "I'm in Sergeant Cork on Saturday. Why don't you watch it?" and he says, "It may prove useful when casting in future." And a month later, he was cast. It probably didn't harm that his agent was Terry Carney, who was,
Yeah,
of
yes,
course,
Oh,
yeah.
right,
And
yes,
Eric Lapine
yes,
Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who was William Hartnell's
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandson.
son-in-law.
In-law.
Yeah,
Yeah, son-in-law.
and he's
Grandson-in-law.
And Keith's another one that wrote to Henrik saying he cannot say how much he enjoyed it and working for you. I only hope you were truly satisfied. So there's the actors. Caroline said it might have been actors just angling for work, but I've seen
might have been.
a lot of these production files, and not many have lots of letters from
Yes,
actors
yes.
saying that they hope the director's all right.
Ah.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, actors can be quite nice.
Amazingly.
Often, in fact, always, really.
And is Doctor Who that something that has people remind you of, Patrick? Do you get surprised sometimes by a letter?
Well, the odd, yes, the letter sometimes arrives. But some years ago, when I was, what age am I now? Was I was in my late 50s or older, and two boys of 15 or 16 came up to me in a theatre and said, "You were in the Reign of Terror, weren't you?" And I didn't know what they meant because it didn't ring any bell at the time. And eventually they said, "Doctor, yes, was it called that?" I'd forgotten. But they were children, say, and I was in my late 50s or older, but they remembered me from that small scene, or two little scenes. I thought that was extraordinary.
Gosh.
I said, "Look, I had to sign something." But they'd seen everything, and knew all these characters. There's me again. So from looking with a funny hat, and I think I had a wig, I suppose I did. And all those years later, at the Holland Park Theatre, they remembered it.
Well, you probably won't remember this because at the Holland Park Theatre, you saw me in a play, and the actors in it knew that I loved Doctor Who, and they said, "You know, an actor called Patrick Marley." I said, "Yeah, he was in the Reign of Terror."
So is that how it
That
happened?
was me, yeah.
What did you play?
I was giving my man from Antonio in The Merchant of Venice, Jimmy Ellis' Shylock.
I remember it
Jimmy
well.
Ellis.
Yeah.
I remember it well. And when the actress playing Portia
Yes.
said, "The quality of mercy is not strained,"
I think she didn't say it droppeth from heavens above.
she
dear.
tried. The whole audience could have said, "It dropped." To be or not to be.
Yeah. Crikey.
We all know.
Yeah.
And she said afterwards, "I don't know what happened." That's what happens.
Yes.
This is why actors are frightened, because you never know how well you know it. The ground opens in front of you, and you forget what you really know.
Yeah. So doing it when you've got 3 cameras in front of you as well
yes.
must be.
And like monster things, and no room to move, and cables everywhere. And watching it later, and watching James Cairncross now, was it rather stagey? Everyone spoke very loudly and very clear, as if it were on stage.
I think James Cairncross is particularly
Yes.
He's very theatrical, isn't
funny,
he?
isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he has an attitude.
And very poised.
I like that bit. It's like Queen Christina at the end of it, isn't it? Garbo.
He's got a good line in staring into the distance.
Yes.
Enigmatically.
Yes,
James
yes,
Cairncross,
this
doesn't
is
he?
good for me. This
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. A lovely man. And yes, we worked in
Yes, nice, very nice.
Shakespeare and things later on. How interesting, seeing it all.
And here we've got.
Have you not seen it since?
Not till the DVD came through the other day. and I saw
Oh, yeah, just to swat up.
Yes.
And here you've got a mixture of.
Yeah,
Things
it's
to-
stock, film
Oh,
stock. Yeah.
yes.
Not real.
That would have been your job to go and track
Yes,
all
I'd
that sort
find
of
that.
stuff down.
Yeah.
You'd have to watch a lot of films and then request different
Yes,
reels.
yes,
We
yeah.
need galloping horses. Yes.
So if A Tale of Two Cities had been done, you'd call that up and
Yeah, yeah.
try and get some
yeah,
stuff from
yeah.
it.
Is it the same horses coming the other way round?
I think
No, it's the same horse, but I think it is.
And here we have the lovely TARDIS.
Yes.
Bringing you to the end of this. There was a break after this, not in terms of when you made it, but in terms of transmission. So Doctor Who, with this, survived its first year. So I suppose as we go out of this, we must maybe think of some of those people that we've touched upon, like Verity and Bill Hartnell. We haven't discussed Verity much today. First producer of Doctor Who, a young woman working at BBC Television at a time when it was a very different
Yes.
beast.
Sidney Newman knew her because she'd done ABC theatre for Thames, and it was her first producing job, Doctor Who, and of course she went on to do extremely well. And sadly, she's another one who's not on this planet anymore. This is the next episode, Planet of Giants.
So that's the end of the Reign of Terror.
Wow.
And Carole, you've looked back now on pretty much all of your episodes for DVD. Has it been interesting
It's
sort of
been absolutely
reliving?
fascinating. It's been fascinating for me to hear other people talking about their experiences, really. I can't say it sort of brings, amazing memories back, but a sort of sense of it. I mean, one has spoken about it so much, over the years that it's like looking at photographs, do I remember this photograph because people have told me about this photograph, or do I actually remember it being taken,
Well, I know the fans are very grateful to you for giving us your time, and indeed all three of you. So Patrick, Marley, Caroline Ford, Tim Combe, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.